Pat, have you got anything you'd like to tell me?
Yeah. One change, Josh Inglis misses out. Smithy comes back in.
Thank you.
Was there any doubts about that with Steve? Came through fine yesterday, I assume.
Yeah, yesterday was his first hit, but he was really happy. Particularly batting. He seemed fine, so he's ready to go. He's going to have another hit now, but finger held up well. Fielding still potentially needs to manage a little bit, so he might not be in the slips too often. Maybe for the spin he'll be okay, but quicks, might need to wait another week. So yeah, you might see him running around a bit more.
Have you had any thoughts on where you might put him in the field?
I think probably some variation of mid-off, maybe some fine leg. So yeah, we'll see how we go. See if he lasts a few days down a fine leg. I reckon he'll be itching to get up in the circle pretty quick.
So Sam Constance just feeling the slips yesterday. I mean, just for a fast bowler, is it something you have to get used to when the slip cordon just keeps shuffling around? Because for such a long time you had like fixed people in there.
Oh, it doesn't really affect us at all. You're always just kind of looking for the best fielders. I mean, it's pretty tricky. Like I've stood at gully for the odd ball, and I'm glad a nick hasn't come my way because I'm not sure I'm catching it. Like I think it's something you got to practice. So I think you'll see Starkey maybe in there as well at times. He's always been pretty good at gully and slip. And then, Semi's been doing a few in there as well.
What are your thoughts on the surface, Pat?
I haven't had a look yet today, but yesterday it looked pretty even coverage of grass. It's kind of hard to know. I think it's been 4 test matches here and they've all been spread out. So it's kind of hard to know. But, yeah, from my eye, it looked like pretty good wicket. Don't know how quickly it kind of deteriorates, but wait and see.
Do you like this part of touring as well? I know you spoke last week about you don't know much about the West Indies, thinking on your feet, and would come to an island where nobody seems to know anything about this place.
Yeah.
I mean, are you like reading up about it? Are you finding out more about it, or just like on the beach and on the golf?
I haven't really, but I do like it. Like I think it's fun coming when there's a few unknowns and you kind of got to think on your feet and you're not quite sure how a game's going to play out. And when you go to Australia, you kind of know how the conditions are going to be. And I think that was like something we did reasonably well in the first test. Was just we thought it was going to be really flat, and it ended up being a pretty bowler-friendly wicket. And you got to try and find a way to score runs differently to how you think. And I like that part of it.
Just sort of on that, I guess with Steve coming back in and the ability for him to help the other guys and you guys at the top of the order sort of problem solve through that, I guess, period where you're not quite sure what the wicket is doing. That's what I add to the group.
I mean, that's one of his great strengths. He's scored runs all over the world, and that means, whilst he's not maybe played a game here, when he seems to work out pretty quickly what needs to be done and where your scoring areas are. So of course, having that knowledge is going to be helpful, particularly to the guys that haven't really played too many tests or first class games on similar wickets.
Now that Steve is officially in, I suppose you've got Josh to speak about it. Do you think Marnus is going to head back to Australia with Wheelwood?
I think they'll make a call kind of after this test. I think they're still kind of umming and ahhing. Obviously, you still need some concussion subs and things like that. So, no decision I think it's made yet. Give it another few days.
Would the guys be happy not have Marnus jibbering around the sideline?
I think Wadey might be happy. He's thrown him about 1,000 balls last week in Barbados, but he was great. I mean, he got a run out as well. He always kind of finds a way to stay involved. We'll wait and see. But I think, ball probably be a conversation between George and Ronnie and Marn, how he wants to best map out the next couple of months.
I suppose there had been a discussion about the prospect of 2 spinners here in the West Indies. Given the next test, I think that's less likely. You've been surprised by the sort of pitches not pulling up seemingly favouring spinners as much as they might?
I mean, I think it's still a bit of a wait and see. It seems like Jamaica can spin a lot. So I think even if it's a pink ball, kind of wait and see and stay pretty open-minded. Obviously, Bo's a third quick as well. So until you kind of get eyes on the wicket, it's pretty hard to know. I remember watching a few test matches over here when when it was quite extreme spin. I can't remember where they were. So I think just every venue is a little bit different. I thought maybe 2 out of the 3 might spin a bit, but so far it looks like the first 2 won't.
With all this chop and changing of the top order, is there sort of a long-term plan as to what that should look like?
I think, the last couple of games, we want some continuity. So, Sam giving him a run as opener, Greeny a run at number 3 over the last couple of test matches. We knew Smithy was going to come back. So, we're kind of waiting to see how it panned out. But, it was kind of pretty deliberate why Joshy was batting at number 4. We thought, we wanted to give the top 3 in particular a decent run at it because he's over the last couple of years, that's been the toughest place to bat. So you want to get a decent look at that before you kind of absolutely stick with it for a longer time, or even feel like you need to make a change.
And how are the players that are in and out all the time or changing position, how are they dealing with it?
I mean, I don't think too many people have changed positions too much. George and Ron are very good at mapping out, and I think they've stayed true to their word. If for someone like Josh Inglis, you miss out on this test, but you're absolutely part of the plans long term. And I don't think there's any real surprises when someone's in or out of the team. So everyone's been good. Again, the only time that you really change the order is when the conditions take in a different direction in Sri Lanka or in India. But most of the time, we try and keep the order fairly stable.
I know you're cricketers, but do you have any sort of sense of the sort of cultural context of coming to an island that's so small? I mean, Dan points out that there's been more people in an AFL Grand Final than there are people in Grenada. I mean, they've only had a few tests. They made a great effort to put this one on. They've painted up the stadium and got it spicco. Or is it just you're just at work? Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both. Being quite a quick turnaround. Only here, I think, other places where you got a week, somewhere like Barbados, you get out and about a little bit more. This one's a little bit tighter, but everyone's kind of commented that it's a great drive in, 25 minutes from the hotel here, and the stadium's really nice. I think a few guys are going to, on their day off today, go into town and try and get lunch or dinner in town. But, just the few people I've met so far have been awesome. The chef this morning, Make My Omelette, was telling me how he's cooks fish for Punter and Haydos in the 2007 World Cup, and that obviously went well. So, same in Barbados. Everyone that you meet just knows what's going on in the cricket. It does seem like cricket's the number 1 sport over here. Everyone knows what's going on.
Roston reckons you'll get more local turnout because they don't get so many matches. Could that add some spice to things as well if you get more local enthusiasm for it than you had in Bridgetown?
I mean, that'd be great. Barbados still having the steel drums and music going, that was always pretty cool last week. So, yeah, of course, that'd be awesome. I thought every local that we've met so far this trip has been really passionate and always pretty good energy, so hopefully.
What's the mentality? The first Barbados game was a game of 2 varied innings. It was a fairy tale. The last 3 games that have been played in Grenada, the West Indies have won that. So for that, they have that history on their side. But you certainly winning that to win by 159 runs. They will be looking, no doubt, to draw the series. What's the mentality of the team going into the game tomorrow?
I think similar to last week, you don't 100% know what you're going to get. Coming up against players that we haven't played a lot against on a field that we have never played on before. So I think it's staying fairly open-minded. Our message is always remember what makes you a good player. Play to your strengths. But if the information takes you in a different direction, just make sure you're sharp and adapt. But it's been good to have one look at the team, the opposition last week, and don't think we need to change too much going into this one.
When maybe I can help you to get a mention it. The team batted last in all the last 3 games. They have won. How does that help you knowing that?
It's kind of hard because the sample size is pretty small. It's spread out over a decade or so. So it's interesting. The trend looks like it gets harder and harder to bat on this wicket, although the 4th innings team has won. So I feel like you can go, take it in either direction.
Clearly the group had a bit more to give last week. If you had to pick a couple of work ons heading into here, what would they be? Skip?
I think, just being a little bit quicker to adapt. It got difficult at times. That's Test cricket. Even with the ball changes, each time kind of got a new ball, that made a little tricky period for the batters. So I think just being sharper. I think part of that, a lot of the conversations about keep the scoreboard ticking over, make yourself hard to be bowled at. So that, that's one thing we've spoken about. Bowling wise, pretty happy. Catching, probably dropped a couple of catches, but everyone's always works hard on that.